Happy New Year, guys. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to all my subscribers, and I'm coming up on 1,000 subscribers, which I never thought would be possible with my channel, but thank you guys for your support and everything, and I'll try and keep the videos coming. Soon enough I'll be off to college, so it might be difficult unless I can find something interesting to make a video of. But for right now, I've got these two tractors and the Craftsman, which is actually up for sale already. I'm still trying to see if I can find a motor for it for cheap, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. But anyway, here's the two John Deeres. As you can see, a couple things have changed. Most importantly, the 316 is now a snow plowing tractor, as you can see. I'm just going to go over this real quick. Back in September, I replied to a Craigslist ad for a 140 H1 tractor with a mower deck and a 54-inch hydraulic lift blade. I didn't want the tractor, obviously. I just wanted the blade. And the guy said, yeah, shoot me an offer, because it looked to be in great shape. I mean, it's got rust on the front of the moldboard, but this is an original plow, too. This is an early one, too. It's an early aluminum tag with a, I don't know if you can see that, F061 date code, which is late 60s. So it's like it's probably bought about the same time as the 140 was. It was probably new about the same time, so it's an older one. I sold my 43 blade that I had on the 210. I sold that to my buddy DJ up in New York. JD Gator, go check him out. When he was down here, I sold it to him because after plowing snow with the 210 all winter and having all the problems with the drive belt, I just decided to give up, because every time I shifted gears to back up and I'd let the clutch out, the drive belt would slip off. I had to keep shutting it down and then jump starting it again once I fixed the belt. So I figured, it's not worth the trouble. Now I have a fully hydrostatic and hydraulic tractor, so and it's much tougher, much heavier built for this kind of work anyway. So I figured I'd turn this into a plow tractor, and this blade is in pretty good shape. It's probably like a 6.5 or 7 out of 10, aside from the paint. But the guy said, shoot me an offer. I said, I'll give you $350 for it. He said, good, done deal. So I went over with my grandfather, went over to Pennsylvania and picked it up. And it came from his collection. He had a bunch of rare tractors, like Cub Cadet 169s. He had 3 of them. He had a couple Red Series Cub Cadets. He had a bunch of patio tractors and patio seats, stools actually. And he had a John Deere 140H3, which was, he says, according to the serial number, was made exactly halfway through 1968. So I thought that was interesting. Really neat tractor, had a 3-point hitch and all. But the 140H1 that this came off of, it wouldn't start. It was in good shape, but it wouldn't start. It just came with the plow. So we pulled the plow off. And obviously, because the 316 is H1, it can only run one hydraulic cylinder. The lines are in good shape, except this one right here has a crack right at the end of the hose fitting. You'll have to excuse my voice cracking. I'm just getting over a bit of a bug going around here. So, but yeah, it's in pretty good shape. I mean, like I said, that one line has a slight crack, and I did have to take a wrench and turn this fitting a couple degrees so it didn't hit the frame when I lifted it. And as you can see, it also came with the manual angling kit, which is really rare for this size of a blade. Usually the manual angling kit was available for the 43 blade. But I saw this one came with the manual angling kit, which is good because it saves me from having to get up off the seat whenever I want to change angle. And it's all there. I mean, it has a new clevis right here with a pin. It's all there. Here's your rod and everything. That's the rod holder. It bolts to the frame on the 140. I had to modify it to make it fit this tractor. It's actually not the right one for this tractor, but I'm making it work. And then you've got your pivot brackets and all that stuff. Springs, a lot of springs and everything. I still have to make a couple more modifications to it. The big thing was, you can see this main bracket. This is like the piece that holds, this is like the central pivoting piece here, this big bracket here, and it was bolted on with 2 bolts, as you can see there. But I couldn't mount the blade up with those 2 bolts sticking in there. It would just hit up against the frame. It wouldn't slide all the way into place. So I just took it up to the shop, and I had my uncle weld this bracket to the main plow frame. I don't know if you can see that. So it's it's a decent weld too. It's not like a crappy job either. So that saved us a bit of trouble. The 140 frame doesn't stick out that far, so you're able to stick the 2 bolts in through there. But in this case, we couldn't do that, so we had to make some modifications. But and then I have to figure out what to do with this angle handle, because I think it's not long enough. It's really not long enough when the blade's all the way angled to one side. The rod hits up against this bracket here, so I think I might just cut the rod out and make a longer one and make that work. And it keeps rubbing up against the side panel here too, so I'm gonna have to figure out what to do about that. So that's that. So this will be my snow plowing tractor now. I'm real excited about that. As you can see, I got my weights all loaded up. 25-pound Cup Cadet and 50-pound John Deere cast iron wheel weights on each side, so 75 pounds each. I've got my Carlisle All-Trail heavy-duty all-purpose tires, or all-terrain tires, whatever you want to call them. I have them on the back. Since I use these the least now, I use my turf tires for mowing, and I keep the lug tires on the 210. These heavy-duty all-purpose tires were just sitting around with nothing to do, so I figured I'd make these my dedicated snowplow tires. So I mounted up the chains. I think I still need to tighten them a little bit, but we'll see how she does on ice. I tightened up the chain, or I put the chains on, and as you can see, I don't know if you can see that, I took them down to the tire shop, and I had the old rubber valve stems removed and had them put metal valve stems in to prevent any leaks or anything like that. And the reason I did that is because in order to get more weight, I took these tires down to the John Deere dealer and I filled them with 7 gallons of RimGuard, which is a really good material to use for liquid ballast. That's specifically what it's designed for. Basically, it's just beet juice, and beet juice, it doesn't contaminate the ground if it leaks out. It's not harmful to pets or animals or anything like that. It doesn't rust out the rims like calcium, water, and it doesn't freeze, and it's actually much more dense than water or calcium or any of that stuff, so it has a much greater mass per gallon. I think it's like just under 11 pounds per gallon for this stuff, so it's much heavier than water, antifreeze, or washer fluid, what some guys like to load their tires up with. So if you guys are looking to get your tires filled, this RimGuard is the way to go. The going rate is different for different dealers. You might be able to get it at your John Deere dealer or New Holland dealer or a tire shop or place like that. It's a great alternative to using water or calcium or something like that, because we know after using calcium for God knows how long, it doesn't like the rims. It just eats them up. So this stuff doesn't do that. It doesn't do any harm. That's why it's called RimGuard. But it's a great alternative. So I had them put 7 gallons in each tire, which added just around 150 pounds inside the tire. So I have 150 pounds in the tires and 150 pounds outside the tires. So I have 300 pounds on the rear. And then I'll just go over this real quick. This is a custom rear weight bracket that my uncle and I built one day. This triangular frame you can see was actually something that he built about 30 years ago. For his 318, because his 318 has a 3-point hitch on it, and he used to use it to push start the sprint cars around. If any of you guys are into dirt racing, you know that sprint cars have to be push started. So he used to take the 318 with him to all the racetracks and put this weight bracket on the back, and he had a bunch of 100-pound suitcase weights from my grandfather's Massey Ferguson tractor. He just hung them off the back and used that as weight for pushing the cars around. And then once they got out of racing and everything, he just kind of threw it behind the barn, and a tree actually ended up growing through it. And then about 2 months ago, they cut the tree down and cleared some of that stuff out. And he says, you can have this weight bracket. And already had, it has a hole for a hitch there and a hole for a hitch there. And I cut he had clevis pins welded in different spots for the 3-point hitch arms. So I cut them off with the grinder, and then I angled these pieces off. Welded a bar across the middle here, and then we spent a lot of time making these hooks to hook onto this back rock shaft. It doesn't just pin, it can't pin up or bolt up because this is an open frame. They call this an open frame tractor. That's how they distinguish between the older 300 series like the 300 and the 314 and 317 from the 316 Onan, 318 and 322 and all those. so it can't just bolt to the frame. So we made some hooks and hooked onto the rock shaft, and these hooks can slide too. They're basically stuck to this. They can slide in and out on this rod because the rod's welded in there, and then it just bolts into the hitch there with a 1/8 inch bolt, I think that is. And then for Christmas I got a pair of suitcase weights, 42 pounds each. I might get some more though. I mean, this is a very versatile weight bracket, so I can hang 3 suitcase weights on the inside, I can hang 4 on the outside, or I could hang 2 there and 2 there. So I could really have about 8 suitcase weights if I needed to, but I don't plan on that. So I do want to get some more suitcase weights though, because I also need them for garden tractor pulling. I'm just going to hang them on the front of the 210 there. So that's that. I also got, as a replacement for my original GoPro Hero, which was a piece of junk, I got a GoPro Hero Plus for Christmas. Nothing fancy. I don't need a fancy camera or anything like that, but this one actually worked, unlike the last one. The last one, it never worked because it would have trouble transferring video files to my computer, so I had to get rid of it. But with the old one, I kept the suction cup mount, and just yesterday, actually, I bought a chest mount, a chest harness, and a head mount. So when I'm plowing snow this winter, we can mount the GoPro to my head or to my chest, or put it on the suction cup, and you guys can watch me plow snow. It'll finally be a decent video, and I figured it would be really helpful because this tractor takes, I mean, with this setup, it takes about 4 hands, because you have to have 1 to drive, 1 to steer, 1 to lift and lower, and 1 to work the angle. So having a GoPro that I don't have to use my hands for is great. Enough chit chat now. I haven't run these tractors in a while. The 316 hasn't run since, I think, New Year's Eve, and then the 210 hasn't run in probably a month. And that is because the starter burned out, or it's burning up. It's old and it's worn and everything. It needs a rebuild. My good friend DJ sent me a rebuild kit, but I don't think I put it together properly, so I need to take it apart and look at it again. But it should start with a jump. I mean, it's been sitting on the battery tender, but the only way the starter actually works is with a jump. So we'll see if she'll start. Really hope it will, because I know you guys like this tractor. But let's start the 316 up first. Oil should be good. I always keep an eye on it. I haven't been using this tractor much anyway, so yeah, we're good. Let's see if she'll come to life. Oops. These Onans like to be run with the choke on for a little while until they warm up, so nothing wrong with that. It's a little finicky, but they're all like that. It's just their nature. Get the hydraulic fluid working. And it has down pressure too, which is great. And how this works is you just turn the handle and then you can push or pull it to angle the blade. But like I said, that handle needs some fabrication because it's not quite right. Stupid battery light still on. Looks like a pretty tough machine to me. She should be ready to go. I mean, like I said, I do want to get some more suitcase weights, but with 300 pounds on the rear wheels and with the weight of the weight bracket and the suitcase weights, and with me sitting on it, I should be at 450 pounds probably, which should be good enough. So if I get stuck, I'll be surprised, but this machine should be good to go. Still needs a little bit of work on some things, like I'm actually looking to upgrade to dual brake pedals from a 322. My friend Jimmy, John Deere 318 guy, has a 322 part that he parted out. Actually switched all the parts over to another frame, and he still has the brakes off of the old frame. So I think what I'm going to do is just swap this single brake pedal for dual brake pedals, and you can use that for turning brakes, you know, going around trees or stuff when you mow, and you can use it for sort of like a differential lock. You get stuck and one wheel spins, you can press the pedal and it transfers the power to the other wheel and helps you get out. So that could come in handy. I'm gonna roll the 210 out so I can jump start it. I don't want to gas myself out. We'll give it a second to charge. Throttle it up a little. Let it warm up because I got to go take it out in a little bit. Yeah, this starter burned up on the inside. I tried to rebuild it with the kit, but I think I screwed up when I put it back together, because you have to hold the brushes down with a flat piece of metal, and I didn't do that, so I just tried to squeeze it in there. So I'm gonna have to take it apart and look at it again, but let's see if she'll do anything. I can't guarantee it'll start, but let's see. The starter's only working because I have it hooked up to the jumper. She's right about there. Yeah. All right. Even though this thing drives me crazy sometimes, it's still one of my favorites. Look at that smoke. Just let the battery charge up for a second. Boy, she likes to rattle, that's for sure. But that's a 16 horsepower Kohler for you. Don't really have anything to do with it right now, except maybe put the sleeve hitch on it and my new Brinly plow, which I think I'll make a video of soon. We'll talk more about that later. I can't really mow with it right now, but this is like my backup mower. So in the winter, if I have to like mow the lane or mow some weeds down or something like that, this is what I use it for. So let's just give it another minute or so to let the battery charge up. I replaced the wiring harness in this tractor with the wiring harness that came out of the 216 that had this motor, DJ's 216. So, and this wiring harness is in much better shape. I think the one that originally had a short end, and that's why the thing kept beating up batteries, and I had to keep jump starting it all the time. So this certainly helped. And then, you know, go figure, I finally get that straightened out, then the starter craps out. So that's the next project. The starter only works completely with the jump. So that shouldn't be too hard, but I think hopefully, keep my fingers crossed, once I get the starter fixed and repaired properly, this tractor should be 100% functional. tired of that owning sound. Actually, I need to fix this end of the driveway here. It's all tore up from us running over it. I don't know if you can see that, but that's the down pressure working. Old shaky, that's for sure. That old color runs pretty good. Again, it's not perfect because it's, you know, got the original coil and everything, but oh, and it has a smaller carburetor too, but it seems to be run pretty strong usually. This year, this is the third year in a row I've said this, but this year I really want to try getting this thing in a garden tractor pull. So I have all the equipment. I just need to borrow a helmet from someone and build my wheelie bar off of the sleeve hitch. So otherwise, she's pretty much good to go. I'm glad this thing started up without much trouble. I couldn't remember if I still had gas in it or not. I think I'm gonna have the hood powder coated or something because my paint job is really, it looked terrible from the start, but now it's getting all scratches and stuff in it. So, and you can see like you can see the scratches from the sandpaper when I was sanding it down because I didn't know better. So I might get that redone. Someday I'm going to take this all apart and get it powder coated and professionally done. But, I mean, I was 14 or 15 when I painted this thing, so it's not bad, but it's not great. No missing or backfiring, I guess that's pretty good. Just figured I ought to wake this thing up since it's been sitting for a while. I'll probably have another video on it pretty soon. What I'd like to do later today is actually try out my new GoPro mount and mount that up. So we'll see what different kinds of angles and videos I can shoot. Having a GoPro now frees up a hand, so that should be really good for plowing snow, especially with this tractor. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know you guys like seeing these two tanks, very heavy tractors. So I got to take the 316 out now, so wish me luck. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy New Year. Comment, rate, and subscribe.